What if I told you that right now, in the jungles of the Northeast, under the icy waters of the Arabian Sea, and deep inside enemy territory, there are warriors operating in total silence, with no media coverage, no public acknowledgement, and no room for failure. These are not ordinary soldiers. They are India's shadow warriors, the special forces, handpicked, brutally trained, and deployed only when normal military options are simply not enough. Today, on India's Shadow Warriors, we are going on a complete breakdown of every major special force India has, from the legendary Para-SF of the army, to the maritime ghosts called MARCOS, to the intelligence operatives within RAW, and even the elite commandos of state police forces. So buckle up. This is going to be intense. Let's go. Before we jump into India's units, let's quickly understand what exactly makes a force special. Special Operations Forces, or SOFs, are elite military units trained to conduct unconventional warfare, counter-terrorism, direct action raids, hostage rescue, intelligence gathering, sabotage behind enemy lines, and humanitarian assistance under extreme conditions. They differ from regular military in three key ways. The selection process is extraordinarily grueling. Their training is multi-domain: land, sea, air, psychological. And they operate in small teams, often in secret with strategic level consequences. Countries like the USA have their Navy SEALs and Delta Force. The UK has the SAS. Russia has Spetsnaz. And India? India has an entire ecosystem of elite warriors. And today, we are exploring all of them. The Para Special Forces, abbreviated as Para-SF, are the primary special operations unit of the Indian Army. They are part of the larger parachute regiment, but Para-SF soldiers are a league apart. Formed in 1966, with deep roots going back to the parachute regiment established in 1945, Para-SF officially took their current elite form during and after the 1965 Indo-Pak War. Currently, India has 10 Para-SF battalions, with each battalion comprising roughly 300 to 400 highly trained operators. Para-SF operates under the Ministry of Defence and reports through the Indian Army's chain of command, with the Directorate General Special Forces coordinating special operations under the Army headquarters. Getting into Para-SF is one of the hardest challenges in the Indian military. Regular Army personnel volunteer, then undergo a brutal 90-day selection process, including long-distance runs, swimming tests, obstacle courses in extreme weather, and psychological evaluations. Only about 5 to 10% of volunteers pass. Post-selection, they go through a 2-year training pipeline covering free-fall parachuting, combat diving, rock climbing, close-quarter battle, urban warfare, survival in jungles and deserts, demolitions, and intelligence gathering. They also train abroad with US Special Forces, British SAS, and Israeli units. In terms of structure and role, Para-SF is most comparable to the US Army Rangers and US Special Forces Green Berets. Versatile, land-centric, and capable of direct action as well as foreign internal defense missions. Para-SF operators use a wide arsenal, including the Tavor TAR-21 assault rifle, Israeli, AK series rifles, INSAS variants, Barrett M82A1 sniper rifles, Dragunov SVD sniper systems, Heckler & Koch MP5 submachine guns, rocket launchers, night vision goggles (NVGs), thermal optics, satellite communication devices, and advanced body armor. They also use HAHO and HALO parachute systems for covert insertion. Top 3 operations. 1. Operation Reach, 1998. Para-SF Commandos launched a daring cross-border operation into Myanmar to neutralize insurgent camps of the United Liberation Front of Assam, ULFA, killing over 20 insurgents and destroying their bases deep inside Myanmar territory. 2. 2015 Myanmar cross-border strike. Following an ambush on Indian Army troops in Manipur's Chandel district that killed 18 soldiers, Para-SF units crossed the Myanmar border in a surgical strike, neutralizing over 100 insurgents in their camps, a bold and decisive retaliation. 3. 2016 Uri surgical strikes. After the Uri army base attack that killed 19 Indian soldiers, para-SF operators crossed the line of control into Pakistan-administered Kashmir in a coordinated multi-team surgical strike, destroying several terrorist launch pads and eliminating dozens of militants. The 1 Para Special Forces, also known as Shaurya Chakra Battalion, is the most celebrated unit in Para-SF, with a lineage going back to World War II and the highest number of gallantry awards in the regiment. Named after the mythological eagle deity, the Garuda Commando Force is the Special Operations Unit of the Indian Air Force, IAF. Established in 2004, Garuda was created with a key mission: protect Air Force assets, conduct special operations in support of air operations, and perform combat search and rescue. The force currently has approximately 2,000 personnel organized into specialized squadrons. Garuda reports to the Ministry of Defence through the Indian Air Force Chief of Air Staff. Garuda recruits from IAF personnel who voluntarily apply. The selection involves extreme physical tests, psychological screening, and survival assessments. Training spans 15 months and includes airborne operations, combat free-fall, hostage rescue, air-base defense, combat diving, and CBRN, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear warfare. They also receive instruction in close quarter battle and special reconnaissance. Garuda's role most closely mirrors the US Air Force Special Operations Command, AFSOC, and the British RAF Regiment in terms of protecting air assets and conducting joint special operations. Garuda units carry Tavor assault rifles, INSAS rifles, Glock sidearms, sniper systems, night vision equipment, helicopter fast rope kits, combat diving gear, and specialized air-based perimeter defense systems, including anti-drone technology. Top 3 operations. 2008 Mumbai terror attacks response. Garuda Commandos were among the first special forces deployed to Mumbai during the 26/11 terror attacks, securing Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj terminus and assisting in the clearance of multiple terrorist positions across the city. 2. Flood and Disaster Rescue Operations, Kerala, 2018. Garuda units played a key role in the massive Kerala flood rescue operations, conducting high-risk aerial rescues and medical extractions from severely flooded districts, saving hundreds of civilians. 3. Pathankot Air Base Attack, 2016. When Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists infiltrated the Pathankot Air Force Station, Garuda Commandos conducted a sustained 72-hour counter-terrorist operation within the base, neutralizing all attackers and protecting critical aircraft and infrastructure. Garuda's elite quick reaction teams stationed at strategic Air Force bases like Pathankot, Srinagar, and Hindon are considered the sharpest in the force. MARCOS, the Marine Commandos, is the Special Operations Unit of the Indian Navy, officially known as the Marine Commando Force, NCF. MARCOS was raised in 1987 and is often compared to the US Navy SEALs. They specialize in maritime counter-terrorism, underwater demolition, beach reconnaissance, hostage rescue at sea, and unconventional maritime warfare. Exact numbers are classified, but estimates suggest around 2,000 active operators. MARCOS reports to the Ministry of Defence through the Chief of Naval Staff. MARCOS selection is considered one of the most demanding in the world. Naval personnel apply voluntarily. Fewer than 1% make it through final selection. The training program lasts about 3 years and includes underwater combat diving, advanced swimming, explosive demolition, parachute operations including Halo, combat shooting, close quarter battle, jungle survival, cold weather warfare, and maritime assault on ships and oil rigs. Much of the training philosophy mirrors that of the US Navy BUDS program for SEALs. MARCOS is directly comparable to the US Navy SEALs, the UK's Special Boat Service (SBS), and Russian Naval Spetsnaz in terms of maritime special operations capabilities. MARCOS uses closed-circuit rebreathers for silent underwater operations. Heckler & Koch MP5 and G36 series weapons, Tavor assault rifles, Block and 6-hour pistols, underwater demolition charges, Barrett sniper rifles, advanced diving suits, rigid inflatable boats (RIBs), and communications equipment designed to work in maritime environments. Top 3 operations. 1. Operation Pavan, Sri Lanka, 1987 to 1990. MARCOS were deployed as part of the Indian Peacekeeping Force (IPKF) in Sri Lanka, conducting maritime counterinsurgency and beach infiltration operations against LTTE fighters, their first major combat deployment. 2. 2008 Mumbai attacks, Marine Drive and Hotel operations. MARCOS Commandos were rapidly deployed during 26/11 to the Taj Hotel and Trident Oberoi complex, engaging terrorists in intense close-quarter combat and securing civilian hostages trapped inside both hotels. 3. Anti-piracy patrols, Gulf of Aden. Since 2008, MARCOS teams have been deployed aboard Indian naval vessels in the Gulf of Aden, successfully intercepting Somali pirates and rescuing multiple merchant vessels and their crews from hijacking threats. The MARCOS stationed at INS Abhimanyu, Mumbai, considered the mothership of Indian Maritime Special Operations, are the most operationally active unit in the force. The National Security Guard, or NSG, is India's premier counter-terrorism force, popularly known as Black Cats for their distinctive black uniforms and balaclava helmets. Formed on 16 October 1984, just days before Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's assassination, NSG was modeled after Germany's elite GSG-9 unit. NSG is a federal contingency force with approximately 7,500 to 10,000 personnel organized into Special Action Groups, SAG, Special Ranger Groups, SRG, and Specialized Technical Units. Critically, NSG reports to the Ministry of Home Affairs, not the Ministry of Defense, making it a paramilitary force under civil control, distinct from military special forces. NSG draws personnel from the Army, CRPF, BSF, and State Police. Selection involves rigorous physical and psychological tests, with training lasting 9 to 12 months. Training covers hostage rescue, close quarter battle, explosive breaching, VIP protection, anti-hijacking on aircraft, and counter WMD operations. SAG units, drawn from the Army, are the primary assault element, while SRG, from paramilitary forces, provides security and support. NSG is comparable to Germany's GSG-9, France's GIGN, and the UK's SAS in the counter-terrorism and hostage rescue domain. NSG carries HK MP5 submachine guns, various variants, HK G36 rifles, Block 17/19 pistols, 6-hour P226, specialized ballistic shields, breaching charges, flashbang grenades, sniper rifles including the Barrett M95 and PSG-1, helicopter fast rope kits, and advanced body armor capable of withstanding rifle rounds. Top 3 operations. 1. Operation Blue Star, Golden Temple, 1984. NSG commandos were deployed in the storming of the Golden Temple complex in Amritsar to flush out Sikh militants led by Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, one of India's most politically sensitive and violent counter-insurgency operations. 2. 26/11 Mumbai attacks. NSG Hub Response 2008. NSG's 51 Special Action Group was airlifted to Mumbai and conducted the final assault on the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel, Oberoi Trident, and Nariman House, killing terrorists and rescuing hostages in 60+ hours of intense combat. 3. Operation Black Thunder 1 and 2, Golden Temple, 1986 and 1988. NSG conducted 2 major operations at the Golden Temple to neutralize Palestini militants who had again fortified the holy site, successfully clearing the complex with minimal damage to the sacred structure and recovering large caches of weapons. 51 Special Action Group, 51 SAG, is the most decorated and operationally active NSG unit, comprising Army personnel and responsible for all offensive counter-terrorism missions. The Special Frontier Force, also known as Establishment 22 or Vikas Regiment, is one of India's most secretive special operations units. Raised in November 1962, immediately after India's humiliating defeat in the Sino-Indian War, SFF was originally formed primarily from Tibetan refugee volunteers who had fled Chinese occupation. It is organized as a paramilitary force with around 10,000 personnel in multiple battalions and operates in high-altitude terrain with extraordinary skill. SFF reports jointly to the Cabinet Secretariat and is coordinated with both the Indian Army and the Research and Analysis Wing, RAW, making its command structure deliberately opaque. Recruitment was historically from Tibetan diaspora, with the rationale that Tibetans are genetically acclimatized to high altitudes. Today, recruitment includes Gorkhas and hill tribal communities. Training covers high-altitude warfare, reconnaissance behind enemy lines, guerrilla warfare, alpine climbing, parachute operations, and intelligence collection. SFF's role resembles that of CIA-backed units like the Special Activities Center, SAD-SOG, irregular, deniable, operating in grey zones of geopolitics. SFF uses a mix of standard Indian Army weapons adapted for cold weather, AK-47 AKM series, M4 carbines, sniper rifles, avalanche survival gear, specialized mountaineering equipment, thermal clothing, and high-altitude survival kits. Top 3 operations. 1. 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War. SFF's Shaktra units conducted deep penetration raids and paratrooper-style insertions behind Pakistani lines in East Pakistan, cutting off retreat routes and significantly contributing to Pakistan's rapid collapse in the Eastern Theatre. 2. Kargil War. High-altitude operations, 1999. SFF units were deployed on key mountain ridges in the Kargil sector, reconnoitering Pakistani positions at altitudes above 18,000 feet and providing intelligence that guided artillery strikes and ground assaults. 3. 2020 Galwan Valley. Finger Heights operations. During the 2020 India-China standoff in eastern Ladakh, SFF troops captured strategic heights in the Finger area overnight, outflanking Chinese positions, a move that shocked the PLA and dramatically shifted tactical leverage toward India. The Vikas Regiment, particularly its 1st Battalion, is regarded as SFF's most storied unit, operating across the Tibetan Plateau, Himalayas, and Bangladesh with distinction. The Border Security Force has unique operational units tailored to India's diverse frontier terrain. The BSF Camel Corps, established in 1975, is a specialized desert patrol unit operating along the Thar Desert border with Pakistan and Rajasthan. It currently fields around 900 to 1,000 personnel with trained battle camels for border surveillance. The BSF Water Wing, raised in 1965, operates on riverine borders, particularly in West Bengal, the Sundarbans, and on maritime approaches. It functions as an armed maritime patrol and interdiction force. Both units report to the Ministry of Home Affairs through the BSF Director General. Camel Corps personnel undergo specialized desert survival, camel handling, tracker skills, and combat shooting. Water Wing operators train in boat handling, underwater operations, river combat, and coastal interdiction. The BSF Camel Corps has parallels with the Jordanian Camel Gendarmerie and the Camel Corps units of the UAE. The Water Wing resembles the US Coast Guard's Law Enforcement Detachments, LEADERs. Camel Corps uses INSAS rifles, LMGs, and radio equipment mounted on camels. Water Wing uses fast patrol boats armed with machine guns, personal weapons, and surveillance radars. Top 3 operations. 1. 1971 War. Thar Desert Sector. BSF Camel Corps units conducted mounted patrols and led ground-holding operations across the desert frontier, enabling the Indian Army's flanking maneuvers during the Western Front operations. 2. Sundarbans Anti-Infiltration Ops, ongoing. BSF Water Wing has consistently interdicted illegal infiltration and arms smuggling routes through the complex mangrove waterways of the Sundarbans along the Bangladesh border. 3. Operation Falcon, Rajasthan border, 2005 to 2010. Camel Corps units conducted intensive patrolling operations, catching cross-border smugglers and infiltrators using desert routes that conventional motor vehicles could not access. BSF's 15th Battalion, Camel Corps, based at Jodhpur, is the most celebrated desert warfare unit within the BSF establishment. Cobra, the Commando Battalion for Resolute Action, is the elite counter-Naxal unit of the Central Reserve Police Force (CRPF). Raised in 2009 in response to the growing Maoist insurgency in India's Red Corridor, Cobra is specifically trained for guerrilla jungle warfare. It currently has 10 battalions with approximately 10,000 personnel deployed primarily in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Maharashtra. Cobra reports to the Ministry of Home Affairs through the CRPF Director General. Cobra recruits from existing CRPF personnel. Training includes advanced jungle warfare, ambush tactics, anti-IED drills, tracking, survival, close quarter combat, and counter-insurgency techniques inspired by the Indian Army's jungle warfare curriculum. Cobra's role mirrors that of Colombia's Backrim counter-insurgency units and the Philippines' Scout Rangers, both designed for jungle-based guerrilla fighting. Cobra units use AK-47 AKM, SLR, LMGs, under-barrel grenade launchers, night vision equipment, satellite phones, bulletproof vests, mine-resistant boots, and IED detection kits. Top 3 operations. Number 1. Operation Green Hunt, 2009, ongoing. Cobra formed the spearhead of this massive multi-state anti-Naxal offensive, conducting hundreds of jungle raids on Maoist camps across the Red Corridor, killing key commanders and dismantling supply networks. Number 2. Sukma Encounter, Chhattisgarh, 2016. Cobra units launched a precise jungle ambush in Sukma district, killing 14 Maoist fighters and recovering weapons, explosives, and IED components in one of the most successful single-day operations against Naxals. 3. Bijapur Operation, Chhattisgarh. A large Cobra-led operation recovered after a Maoist ambush, with follow-up operations identifying and neutralizing key Maoist area commanders, setting back insurgent networks in the region significantly. Cobra's 208 Battalion, operating in Chhattisgarh's Dantewada and Sukma regions, is the most operationally active and decorated battalion in the force. The Research and Analysis Wing, India's external intelligence agency, has its own covert paramilitary capability known as the Special Group (SG). Formed in the 1970s under the direct authority of ROS Chief, the Special Group conducts covert direct action, sabotage, and intelligence operations in foreign territory. It is one of India's most closely guarded secrets, with personnel numbers and structure never officially disclosed. RAW, and by extension the Special Group, reports directly to the Prime Minister's Office, PMO, through the Cabinet Secretariat, making it India's most politically sensitive Special Operations Unit. Special Group operators are recruited from Para-SF and other elite military units, selected for language skills, psychological stability, and adaptability. Training blends special operations combat skills with intelligence tradecraft, surveillance, counter-surveillance, covert communications, disguise, and human intelligence, human operations. RAW Special Group is most comparable to the CIA's Special Activity Center ground branch, MI6's operational teams, and Mossad's Kidon unit. All intelligence agencies with lethal covert action capability. Classified. Reportedly uses suppressed pistols, modified blocks, lightweight carbines, secure communication devices, surveillance technology, and disguise kits for deniable operations. Top 3 operations reported open source. 1. Covert operations in Pakistan, Balochistan. Support. RAW Special Group is widely reported to have supported Baloch separatist movements through intelligence provision and logistical support, as part of India's asymmetric response to Pakistani support for Kashmiri militants. 2. 2016 URI response, intelligence support. ROS Special Group provided real-time intelligence that guided the Para-SF surgical strike planning across the LOC, identifying launch pads, tracking militant movements, and confirming targets. 3. Assassination of Khalistani operators, reported. ROS operators have been linked in open source reporting to targeted operations against Khalistani leaders operating from Pakistan-based safe houses, operations that remain officially unacknowledged. The exact unit designations within ROS Special Group are classified. It is believed to be organized into specialized teams by geography and function. The Aviation Research Center is ROS Aerial Intelligence Arm, India's equivalent of the CIA's Air Branch. Established in 1968, ARC operates reconnaissance aircraft, UAVs, and signals intelligence platforms for strategic surveillance of India's neighbors. It is not a combat unit, but rather an airborne intelligence collection platform. ARC operates from classified airfields and is believed to run a fleet of roughly 50 to 70 aircraft and drones. Reports to the Cabinet Secretariat and ROS Director General. ARC personnel include highly trained pilots and technical operators with expertise in aerial reconnaissance, electronic intelligence, ELINT, signals intelligence, SIGINT, and image analysis. They fly missions over disputed borders, monitor nuclear test sites, track military buildups, and support special operations with aerial intelligence. ARC's role mirrors the CIA's Air Branch, Israel's Unit 8200's aerial components, and the UK's GCHQ-linked airborne platforms. Key operations reported. 1. Pokhran 2 preparation, 1998. ARC conducted aerial intelligence missions to mask India's nuclear test preparations at Pokhran, successfully blinding American satellites and intelligence agencies until the last moment. 2. Kargil aerial reconnaissance. ARC platforms provided early imagery of Pakistani troop movements on Kargil peaks, which was among the first intelligence that alerted India's leadership to the Pakistani infiltration. 3. China border monitoring, LAC. ARC maintains persistent aerial and electronic surveillance along the line of actual control, particularly in Aksai Ching and Arunachal Pradesh, providing strategic warning of Chinese military activities. The Indo-Tibetan Border Police is India's high-altitude border guarding force, established in 1962 after the China War. While not a traditional Special Forces unit, ITBP has specialized commando units within its structure, including the Snow Leopard Commandos and Alpine Warfare Specialists, who are considered among the world's finest high-altitude warriors. ITBP has approximately 90,000 personnel in 60 battalions, guarding 3,488 kilometers of the Indo-China frontier. ITBP reports to the Ministry of Home Affairs. ITBP's commando units undergo training at the High Altitude Warfare School, HAWS, in Gulmarg, the same school that trains Army Special Forces. Curriculum includes rock and ice climbing, skiing, avalanche rescue, high altitude survival, frostbite and altitude sickness treatment, and close quarter combat at altitude. ITBP's high altitude specialists are comparable to France's Chasseurs Alpins and US Army's 10th Mountain Division's elite elements. Key operations. 2020 Galwan Valley response. ITBP units were among the first Indian security forces to respond to the Chinese transgression at Galwan, holding positions under fire and calling in army reinforcements during one of India's deadliest post-1962 confrontations with China. Uttarakhand Flash Flood Rescue, 2021. ITBP commandos were at the forefront of rescue operations after the Chamoli disaster, extracting trapped workers from tunnel systems and conducting cliff face rescues in impossible conditions. 3. Doklam Standoff, 2017. ITBP troops were deployed at the Doklam Plateau standoff, holding firm against Chinese road construction activities for 73 days until diplomatic resolution was achieved. India's states also have their own elite units, and some of them are world-class. Force 1, Mumbai, Maharashtra. Established in 2009, directly in response to the 26/11 Mumbai attacks, Force 1 is Maharashtra's dedicated counter-terrorism quick reaction force. Modeled on NST's structure, it consists of around 213 commandos with 24/7 rapid deployment capability within Mumbai. Equipped with HK MP5 carbines and advanced surveillance gear, Force 1 is trained for maritime, urban, and chemical threat scenarios. STF, Kolkata, West Bengal. The Special Task Force of Kolkata Police is West Bengal's premier counter-terrorism and VIP protection unit. Established in the 1990s to counter Naxal and criminal threats in the Kolkata metropolitan region, STF operators are trained in counterinsurgency, narcotics interdiction, and organized crime busting alongside their counter-terrorism brief. Delhi SWAT. Delhi Police's SWAT team, the Special Weapons and Tactics Unit, was raised to provide an immediate counter-terrorism capability within the national capital region. Trained alongside NSG, Delhi SWAT operators are skilled in hostage rescue, crowd control under extreme threat, VIP protection, and aircraft anti-hijacking first response. They carry HK MP5s, carbines, sniper rifles, and tactical equipment. Thunderbolt, Kerala. Kerala Police's Thunderbolt Force, established in 1992, is widely considered one of India's finest state special forces. Thunderbolt Commandos undergo 9-month training in jungle warfare, combat shooting, counter-terrorism, and close quarter battle, rivaling some central paramilitary units in skill level. Their successful track record in neutralizing extremist threats and criminals in Kerala's complex terrain has earned them national recognition. And there you have it, India's complete ecosystem of shadow warriors. From the para-SF crossing into enemy territory under darkness, to MARCOS ascending from the depths of the Arabian Sea, to the Tibetan warriors of SFF holding Himalayan heights, to Thunderbolt Commandos patrolling Kerala's jungles. India's special operations community is vast, diverse, and battle-tested. They are the line between India's security and chaos, and they operate in total silence, asking for nothing in return. If you made it this far, you're clearly as fascinated by the police. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop in the comments which unit did you find most impressive? Para-SF, MARCOS, or the Ghost Warriors of SFF? Until next time, stay curious, stay proud, and remember the warriors you never see. Jai Hind.